At the very outset, I compliment our Ethics Committee and IQAC for this initiative on ethics in research, which is a very important area. It has two aspects as I look at it. One is traditionally we talked about the consent, we talked about confidentiality, we talked about the informed consent of the participants. So there is also the clause of confidentiality. You will not publish or unnecessarily utilize your information, your data that you collect from the field. There is also the question of objectivity. So all these things are issues like plagiarism. All these issues constitute the question of ethics in research, like, informed consent, confidentiality, question of objectivity, plagiarism, etc. Well, these are, of course, some of the perennial issues in research which we cannot possibly brush aside. But as I look at it, the emergence of AI has, of course, unfolded some of real issues of challenge. For example, if I may give some examples or draw your attention in the case of health sector, the COVID-19 pandemic witnessed a significant rise in health consciousness among people across different age groups. The growing awareness has further strengthened by the integration of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning with wearable sensor technologies. Now, this integration of AI, machine learning with wearable sensor technologies has greatly advanced health data science by enabling continuous health monitoring, precision in medicine, personalized interventions, and predictive analytics, and etc. So wearable health technologies collect vast amount of personal data from millions of users on a day-to-day basis. So concerns have risen regarding how such sensitive data are stored, shared, and potentially used by third parties, raising significant privacy issues. So how to handle this kind of ethical question of protecting and respecting personal data of people and the privacy issues have become pivotal concern in the days to come. Now, this integration of wearable sensors and artificial intelligence undoubtedly holds tremendous promise for the future of data science or health data science. However, these technologies continue to evolve. New ethical challenges related to data privacy and responsible data handling has become the important issue at this critical juncture. This is pertaining to what I look at it, the health issues and the handling of data. Now, I would like to draw your attention to a macro issue. This was about health issues and how we handle data. Another issue that one of my students have recently is doing work on that, on research ethics and data extraction in the light of AI. Here I would like to draw the attention of concept of data colonialism between the global north and global south. Now, what do I mean by this kind of data colonialism? As I said, the rapid expansion of artificial intelligence has fundamentally reshaped the landscape of knowledge production, governance, and everyday life. Now, the ethics of data extraction and the development of AI rely heavily on vast amount of data, much of which is extracted from unequal global context. The point I'm trying to say is that we have a big disparity, we have a big hiatus between the global north, that is the countries like America, Britain and other Western countries, and the global South, they depend a lot, whether it is universities, Western universities, whether it is MNCs or other NGOs, rely heavily for data on global South, countries like India or Bangladesh, South Asian countries or even Afro-Asian countries. Now this raises the ethical concerns, particularly when considering algorithm bias and its disproportionate impact on the global South. At its core, AI is a data-driven technology. Machine learning models require massive data sets to identify patterns, make predictions, and optimize performance. Now, these data sets are often compiled from digital platforms like social media, public records, satellite imagery, user-generated content, or even fieldwork. Now, these are extracted mostly by the sophisticated companies in the global North. In many cases, data from global South is harvested by corporations, universities, and research institutions based in the global South, global North. Now, for example, there are many such cases when we see very often fieldwork and data appropriation by the universities of North in various, backward areas of, our tribal areas, our ethnically diverse regions of Northeast. You will see lot of universities, lot of NGOs come up. Now, there is a question of who will own this data. Now, apprehension is that at one point of time, because of legal appropriation, time might come that we will have to approach those universities for availing those data pertaining to our own societies. So these are some of the issues that I believe need some attention. Well, I have written a few points because we have many guests today. I do not want to elaborate upon much, but suffice to say, so along with the traditional concerns of ethics, there is also the question of emerging issues of AI, emerging issues of machine learning and data privacy, the issues of consent from the participants, not only from individual participants groups, but also the concerns that I have raised about the question of ethics in global South and vis-a-vis AI. Well, with these words, these are some of my stray thoughts I thought would present before you. With these words, I once again compliment our IQAC as well as Ethics Committee for having undertaken such an excellent exercise. With these words, I declare this program being inaugurated. Thank you.